Are you ready to be entertained with pointless jibber-jabber and senseless small talk? If so, then you have come to the right place. It's the Todd Cook Show, starring Todd Cook, and featuring music by local and national artists. Now, broadcasting from his garage, here is Todd Cook.
Hi there. What's going on? This is episode 2-16 of the Todd Cook Show. I am here. You are here. I am talking. You are listening. This is the Todd Cook Show. I am Todd Cook. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen today. And sorry, I already bumped my microphone with my chair. I'll try not to do that again. Today on the show, I want to talk to you a little bit about those little meetings that you have at work. Nobody likes to go to work, and sometimes you have meetings at work that could be worse than work itself. I also want to talk about how some people spend a lot of time, extra time, or at least time that I consider extra unneeded time in preparing their foods. I got music by Matt Kuzma coming up, and also want to talk about something that is not needed any longer, but is still being delivered, and I want it to stop. All that on this episode of the Todd Cook Show. And if anybody out there is wondering about my wife and our baby, no baby yet. So I shouldn't say my wife and our baby. I should say about the baby that we are expecting. No, I can say she's in there. The baby is in there. It's a real baby. I felt it move and everything. But the baby's not here yet. It's not due, actually, for over a month still. But since she's been really early with the first two, we are expecting that this one will be here sometime soon as well. It could actually come at any moment now. So it won't be too much longer. I will be a daddy for the third time, and for the very first time, a daddy to a little girl. And I don't know crap about girls, so I'm a little worried about that, but I will learn as I go on. All right, so let's get started on this episode. You know, everybody out there listening to this, or the vast majority of you anyway, have jobs. Some of you might have some jobs that you like, but most of us out there don't really have jobs that we enjoy too much. And one thing that can make a job even worse on some days, and maybe sometimes even better, and I might talk about that here in a little bit, is that you have these meetings. You go to work, and you'll see a sign posted somewhere, maybe in the break room, on a door somewhere, or maybe you'll get an email sent to you that will let you know that on this particular day, you're going to have a meeting. And you usually kind of dread those meetings because you usually have to go in there and listen to somebody, you know, your boss or your manager or your coworkers talk, you know, for an hour or so about things that a lot of times, in my experience at least, most of the things that they talk about did not pertain to me. Or at least they didn't seem like it. So it seemed like a waste of time. But since, you know, I'll talk about when I was working at a grocery store, which I did a lot on and off for 3 to 5 years. I think it was like almost 6 years. And we'd have these meetings, and, you know, it depends on what I was doing that day. You know, if I was, you know, in the back room and nobody was bothering me and I was, you know, doing whatever work that needed to be done back here by myself, and then I had to go to a meeting, sometimes I'd be disappointed because I'd rather just be back here by myself and be left alone. That's kind of the guy I've been at most of the jobs that I have had in the past. I just most of the time I like to be left alone. Not that I'm not a social person at all. I like to be around people. It's just that when I'm by myself, I can listen to my podcast and not have other people bother me. But no, I don't mind being around other people. But there were times when I would be in the back room at the grocery store, and they would say that we had to go to this meeting, and I'd be kind of bummed out about it. But other times, if I'd be out on the floor, you know, trying to build a big display of canned vegetables or whatever the case might be, and, you know, I'm getting customers coming up, asking questions a lot, and maybe the store is really crowded. Maybe it's around a holiday, you know, Christmas or Thanksgiving, and there's a lot of people around, and they say it's time to go upstairs to have a meeting. I'd get kind of excited. All right, let's go have this meeting. And but the one thing that you always kind of dread when you go to these meetings is that somebody will have to ask a question at some point or bring up some kind of a problem that they're having. And these are usually the people, and it's not in every case, but a lot of times what I found, especially at the grocery stores I worked at, the people who participate enthusiastically at these meetings a lot of times are the type of people who think that their job is more important than your job. They think that that their jobs, they need everybody else to help them with what they're doing because their job is so important and they're so busy that they don't have time to do it themselves. To the point where they will literally tell you to do something that is supposed to be their job, but they'll tell you to do it, and it's all under the umbrella of making it sound like they don't have time to do it themselves. And they'll make it sound like it's your job to do it. And let me explain this. I'm probably not doing a good job explaining this. Let me go ahead and explain this right now. One of the things I can remember, one specific incident, this was way back when I was still living in Indiana. I'm working at a grocery store, and I worked there third shift. And there was a certain night, I can't remember all the details, but the dairy guy was not there on that night. Nobody was there, working third shift for the dairy department. I don't think. Maybe there was, but I don't think there was ever anybody there third shift. The dairy person would get there really early in the morning and take care of the dairy department, or the grocery department, which is what I was in, would be there all through the night. Well, the problem was you never knew when the dairy truck was going to be delivered. A lot of times it'd be delivered during the middle of the night, and so somebody from the grocery department would have to deliver it. And a lot of times that was me. For the at least a short period of time, that person was me that would unload the dairy truck. And I would do exactly what the store manager, what my boss would say. He said, your main goal is just to get it off the truck, because the longer that truck, we're paying that truck driver for however long he's out there on that dock, we're paying him. So the quicker you get him unload it and make sure it's the dairy department, so make sure you get it all into the refrigerator. And that's all you need to do. Just get it off the truck and into the fridge as quickly as you can, and then sign the paper and send the truck driver on his way. And that's what I would do. And at some point, the dairy guy that ran the dairy came up to me and said, hey, I don't know why you're doing this, but when you unload the truck, can't you just go ahead and separate the pallets for me a little bit? And what I mean is sometimes they'd have a pallet, that would be stacked, 6 high of milk crates, and then another pallet on top of that would have some other stuff on top of it. And he would want me to get the forklift and take the top pallet off of the bottom pallet so that he could get to it easier. And he would say, literally, this is what he would say, I don't have time to separate all these trucks. And if you're going to unload the truck for me, go ahead and just separate the pallets for me. He goes, otherwise, when I get here, I don't have time to do it. And I got to go all the way down to the other end of the store and find the high loader and, like the walk behind forklift thing. He goes, I got to go walk all the way down there, find the high loader, and then walk all the way back here. And I just don't have time to do it. And I thought about it for a second. I looked at him. I was like, we don't really have time either. I go, you know what I'd have to do if I had to separate those two things? I'd have to walk down the other end of the store, get the high loader, and bring it back down here and unload it for you and separate it for you. The exact same thing that you'd have to do. And he was just one of those guys where he just thought that he had, and I remember he would complain quite a bit that the grocery department wouldn't do this for him, didn't do that for him. It's like when he got there, he wanted to have as little work as possible, and if there was any opportunity for somebody else in another department to do something for him, he thought it was automatic. Obviously, they should do it because I don't have enough time. And there's a lot of people out there like that, and that's the kind of people that talk at these meetings, and you always dread as soon as they raise their hand or they stand up or whatever they do to signify that they got to talk. As soon as they do, you're like, oh, crap, here we go again. And there's a lot of people out there like that just think that their job is so much more important and they are so much more put upon and so much more stressed out than you are, when in reality, their job is just like yours. I'm not sure where they get that idea or where they get that notion, but it exists, and it exists too much, and I don't know why. All right, it's already been 10 minutes. Let's take a quick short break. Don't go anywhere. I got more great things to talk about on the other side of this break.
You're listening to The Todd Cook Show.
Hi, Todd Cook here. Do you like going out on Friday or Saturday nights for some supper and live music, but you're not into the bar scene? Because let's face it, when the alcohol starts to flow, those places can get a little loud and a bit rowdy. sometimes to the point that it becomes difficult for you to enjoy your food or the music. Do you wish that there was a place that had good food, good music, but a less distracting atmosphere? A place that you can enjoy the food and the music but still get home at a decent hour? Well, that place does exist, and it's right here in Wichita on the corner of Douglas and Hillside, or 110 South Hillside to be exact. It's called The Kiln. They have live music every Friday and Saturday night starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 9. The Kiln is a Christian-ran, non-alcoholic establishment that operates solely on donations. And they always have great food and great entertainment. And one of the best parts, you don't need a babysitter. You can bring the kids with you. So for more information, contact Mike through the Facebook page. The Kiln, K-I-L-N, and be sure to check it out yourself this Friday or Saturday night, 110 South Hillside, corner of Douglas and Hillside in Wichita. The Kiln, where they are always glad you came.
His lips are moving, but he ain't saying anything. Todd Cook.
That ain't true at all. That is not true at all. My lips are moving, but I am also saying something. I said something for 10 minutes there in the first segment, and I'm going to say something for another 20 minutes throughout this entire show, minus the 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, however long the song will be. I got music by Matt Kuzma coming up in just a few short minutes, but other than that, I'm going to be talking pretty much the entire time, so you better be listening. All right, let's get on to the second segment here. And also, I was going to mention that those people that think that their jobs are more important than your jobs at work, it's weird when you actually confront them about this and tell them, no, I'm not going to do what you want me to do because that's your job. They're not shocked in the way that, wow, I guess he caught my little trick. I was really trying to trick him into doing my job, but I guess he got me. That's not what they do. They're like, they're still just surprised. Like, huh? My job is too more important than your job. I can't believe that they're making me do this when they could do it. Well, it's your job. Just because I can do it doesn't mean I should do it, and I'm not going to do it. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit here about meal preparation. And this is not like cooking your meal or the manner at which you might prepare it. I mean, I'm talking about fast food. I'm talking about people that go to fast food and then before they start eating, they got to prepare things, lay it out on the table. And I might have talked about this once before on this podcast or my previous podcast. I can't really remember. It's been a while. But something happened recently that made me think about it again. So I want to go through this topic with you. Another, I don't know if I'd call it a pet peeve or not, but it's something that just kind of drives me crazy on occasion. And my wife is guilty of this to some degree, but I had a friend back in Indiana who was very guilty of this. And let me explain. You go to a fast food place, you go up to the counter, and he would place his order. Then the food would come and be on his tray there. You know, he's got his hamburger and his French fries and his drink, and he's got it all there on his tray. And now for me, at that point, when I get everything on my tray, I'm walking to my seat. Not him. He's got to stop at the condiments. Absolutely has to stop at the condiments. I might stop and get him a napkin or something, but he has to stop at the condiments, and he has to, go through and get the little things of ketchup, squish it out into his little container there, and might do like 2 or 3 of those. Then he get a little mayonnaise, squish it out into there, or mustard, whatever he might thinks he needs, sets it on his tray, and then goes back and sits down and starts not to eat like I would. No, he's not done with this whole process yet. Now he's got to unfold his sandwich wrapper, lay it out nice and neat, like stretch it out with his hands, like try to press it down and slide his hands across it to kind of flatten out the wrinkles and the creases in it. Then he would set his ketchup packets or his ketchup little containers. What do you call those things? Little cups? I don't know, those little paper things, that get you a teaspoon worth of ketchup. Whatever those are called, he'd lay them out there. He'd have 2 or 3 there and a mayonnaise and maybe a mustard or something. And then his sandwich is laying there, and he would take his fries and dump them out onto the corner of the paper, of the wrapper, of the sandwich. And then he would open up his sandwich, take the top off and maybe put a little ketchup on there and start spreading it out. Sorry, hit the microphone again. And then he would take his mustard packet and squish a little mustard on the sandwich and mayonnaise and spread it all around. And then take the empty ones and you maybe throw them away or just lay them on the other corner of his tray. And then at some point, he'll start eating. But it's like this whole preparation thing, laying out that paper, putting the fries on the corner of the paper, putting the condiments on a sandwich. And sometimes by the time he would get done with all that and take his first bite, I'd be done. Because here's how I approach it. Here's my technique at a fast food restaurant. I go up to the counter, I'll order what I want, and nowadays you got to get your own drink usually. So once you order, I'd go over and get my drink and put it on there, and then they hand me my tray. When it's got everything on there that I need, I pick the tray up, I walk back, and I sit down, and I start unwrapping the sandwich that I got, whether it be a hamburger or a chicken sandwich, whatever. I start unwrapping it, and as soon as the bread or the meat of that sandwich it starts to, I was going to say as soon as the light from the sun hits it, but I guess I wouldn't be outside. As soon as the light from the fluorescent bulb of the restaurant hits that sandwich, after I unwrap it, my teeth are being sunk into it. I'm biting it. It's time to eat. That's why they call it fast food. It's not just fast because they make it fast. It's fast because you eat it fast. It's not a sit-down restaurant where you sit down and like enjoy your meal in a way that you got the side dishes and maybe an entree and a appetizer and this and that. No, it's fast food. It's McDonald's. It's Burger King. The food is not going to be that extraordinary. It's just going to be good, and it doesn't need to be eaten in a way that is some experience. It's just fast food. Just pick it up, stick it in your mouth. And so I'll unwrap that thing as soon as it's like I said, as soon as it sees daylight. I'm eating it, and I'm drinking my drink, and I'm eating French fries. I don't even worry about condiments. I don't even like, who needs ketchup, okay? I still think ketchup is for little kids. Ketchup is what you put on food when your kids won't eat it. You got to drown it in ketchup so they'll eat it. But I'm an adult, so I don't need ketchup. And you can even ask my wife. Very rarely, I'll go into the kitchen, and sometimes she'll, like just the other day, she brought home these deli-made sandwiches, from the store that were all ready to go, and she went ahead and put a little mayonnaise on there for me. I like mayonnaise. I do. I like mayonnaise on my sandwich. But just the effort, and maybe this speaks a little more to me of my laziness than it does about how I don't want to spend time on food. Just the effort, a lot of times, of reaching into the fridge and opening up the mayonnaise jar and getting a knife that I've got to, wash later. That whole process and spreading it on the sandwich just takes too long. I would rather just pick up that sandwich, pick up my drink, grab something for a napkin, a piece of paper towel for a napkin, and go back to my recliner and sit down and start eating. And again, that's not to say that I don't like condiments. I do. I like mayonnaise on my sandwich, but it's just an effort for me. I just don't want to have to bother with it. Once I get the food, it's time to eat. It's not time to prepare the food. And I'll do that a lot of times. Like sometimes I'd want pickles or something. I'm like, I don't want to have to open up the jar. I don't want to have to make the mess. I don't want to have to do all that. Just sit down and eat. Condiments are not that important to me most of the time. But it is to a lot of people, and they, like I said, they got to spread it out there and make it look as great as they can. Like they got to have a presentation of the food first before they can eat it. Not me. And another thing I remember, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but I remember my friend, the one I'm talking about in Indiana, when it came to drive-thrus, he didn't understand the things that I like about a drive-thru is that it's convenient. He'd go up, we'd pull up, and we would say that we're going to go to McDonald's to eat, and then 20 minutes later we'd be there, and he would roll down the window and look at the menu like it was the first time he ever seen the menu. Like he had no idea what he wanted. Now, we've known we were going to McDonald's 20 minutes ago, and I already in the back of my mind decided what I was going to get then. But to him, it's like he rolled down the window, and it seems like I remember at one point he rolled down the window and started staring at the menu and told the lady, just a second. And I was like, is this your first time at McDonald's? We've been here before. We decided we were going to go 20 minutes ago. Why couldn't you decide? And it seemed like at some point he's like, I don't have the whole menu memorized. I was like, yeah, you do. It's McDonald's. It's been around for years. Now, I could actually quote you the entire McDonald's menu Back in the day, back in the 80s, they had this commercial where they recite the entire menu. And anyway, I memorized it. But if I did it now, you would just think I'm reading it off the internet. So there's no reason for me to do that to impress you, or no reason for me to do that to bore you. But we all pretty much have the McDonald's menu memorized, right? There's a Big Mac. There's a quarter pounder of cheese, a double quarter pounder. There's the fish fillet. There's a couple of chicken sandwiches that they have now. There's a couple chicken wraps. You can get grilled or breaded chicken wraps. But we pretty much know what's on the McDonald's menu. So 20 minutes ago, when we decided to go to McDonald's, you should have already had what you wanted in your brain. But people don't do that. I can't believe how many times I pulled up to a drive-thru with somebody in the car at a very popular fast food restaurant that they've been to millions of times in their lives. But then when you roll down the window and you look at the menu, it's like it's the first time they've been there. And they just, I don't know. Just drives me nuts. And maybe that's more me than it is them. I think most people don't have a problem if other people take a while to order. But to me, it's just like, you're at a fast food restaurant. You've been there before. When you get up there, it should be snap, snap, snap on through. All right, let's play a song here. This song is by Matt Kuzma. He is a member of my band Good and Greasy. This is a song that he recorded years ago. It's called You're Still Gonna Miss Me When I'm Gone.
It's me again. You're hard to find. I must have tried your number 20 times. Look real good, that yellow dress, like you're waiting for some special guest.
You're Still Gonna Miss Me When I'm Gone by Matt Kuzma, and that song was brought to you by B&B Towing. If you need a tow, if you need a jump start, if you need a winch out, if you've been locked out of your vehicle and need somebody to help you get in, happened to me many times. If you need somebody to deliver you some fuel because you ran out of gas, that's happened to me. If you need an old car that you have to be bought by somebody and give you some cash money for it, you need to call B&B Towing. This is for everybody out of the Wichita, Kansas area. Cheyenne Brown, B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. A 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force. Call him for all your towing needs. Cheyenne Brown, B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. You're listening to The Todd Cook Show. Don't go anywhere, folks.
The Todd Cook Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. Do you live in the Wichita area? Are you looking for a great place for lunch or dinner? Do you love live acoustic music but don't know where to go? Try the Artichoke Sandwich Bar. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and it is a fantastic place to eat and listen to live music. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and what goes better with a sandwich than a cold beer? So look up the Artichoke Bar on Facebook today to find out when they are opened and what musical artist is performing next. They just celebrated their 30th year in business, so you know they're doing something right. The Artichoke Sandwich Bar, 811 North Broadway, Wichita, Kansas, where everything is okie dokie artichoke.
Charlie Brown's teacher is easier to understand than he is. Todd.
Thank you very much. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com is my email address. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com. I only got a couple minutes left here, and I want to take those last few minutes here to tell you about something that is no longer needed, but is still delivered. That's a hint, by the way. If anybody out there is wondering what I'm going to be talking about, I'll give it to you one more time. Something that is no longer needed, but is still delivered. What I am talking about is the phone book. Good old Yellow Pages. Just the other day, I came home from somewhere, and there on my front porch was the big, thick Wichita phone book, the Yellow Pages. Who needs the Yellow Pages anymore? You know, the internet has been around now for probably close to 20 years. And the Yellow Pages, the phone book, it's online. Yellowpages.com, YP.com, whatever it might be. But if you type in any business you want in the city, anywhere in the world that you want, and it will bring up, and you type that into Google, and it will bring up the phone number. Why do we need a phone book anymore? People have internet on their phones. Anywhere they go, at any time during the day, night, doesn't matter. Everybody has access to the internet. When I say everybody, I'm using that loosely, of course, because there are some people that do not. However, for those few people, and there's a couple people that I can think of right now off the top of my head that need the phone book. One is my mom, and the other is my dad. To this day, they don't have internet access. They had it for a little while, but they never really got the hang of it. They never really seemed to see the benefit of it. And they're behind the times. Me and my wife were behind the times. We just, a little over a year ago, got some smartphones. But the Yellow Pages, I can't remember last time I looked up a number in the phone book. I can remember doing it at this house that we live in, so it couldn't have been too long ago. But it is so rare now that I don't think they should just automatically deliver it to your house. They should, if you need a phone book, they should have them at the post office, or you fill out a little form and you mail it and say, yes, I would like the phone book delivered. But they don't do that. They still, to this day, will go around house to house and drop phone books on people's porches. Who needs phone books? They used to do that with milk. They would deliver milk to your house. I'm not sure what the reason was. Maybe it was hard to get fresh milk. They couldn't keep it in the stores, and people wanted it fresh from the cow. I don't know. They would deliver milk on your front porch. I don't remember that. That was way before my time, and I'm getting to the point now where my son, actually, when the phone book was on the porch, and I brought it inside and looked at it, he said, "Daddy, what's this?" And he's 7 years old. he probably will never, ever use a phone book. I would highly doubt that he'll ever have a time where he needs a phone book and he'll have to look up a number in the phone book. It'll all be online. By the time he's old enough to look up phone or didn't need a phone number, it'll all be implanted into our brain somehow with some kind of a microchip. But the only people that need phone books now are probably the same people that remember when milk was delivered. So, yeah, it's an old person thing, I think, for the most part. But phone books aren't needed anymore. We have the internet. And so please, if you want a phone book, or if you think people out there need a phone book, just have it delivered. Or don't have it delivered. Have it delivered to the post office. That'd probably work just fine, right? Have a phone books delivered to the post office, and anybody that wants it can go in to the post office and get it. I don't need it on my front porch. It's a waste of paper. Some people might recycle them. Some people use them for a booster seat for their kid to be able to sit at the table. But the Wichita phone book's not even quite big enough for that. It's only an inch and a half thick or something. All right, there's the music. So it's time to get out of here, folks. Thank you very much for listening. Tune in next week. There'll be a new episode. And remember, the 2 rules of the Todd Cook Show are I talk and you listen. Bye.